Hello there. Welcome. You've done enough today. Now it's time to rest. You're here in this quiet space, a place where the mind can soften, where stories drift in like candlelight, where the past feels close, like a whisper. Take a deep breath, in and out. You don't need to focus too hard. You can let your thoughts come and go like clouds. Tonight, I'll take you on a gentle journey through velvet corridors and quiet gilded rooms. Tonight, we'll explore the sleeping chambers of the kings of France. Not the battles they fought or the thrones they claimed, but the private, hushed spaces where they laid their heads at night. A world of heavy curtains, feather mattresses, and candlelit silence. So let your eyes grow heavy and follow me now, softly, back in time. Our journey begins at the Palace of Versailles, but not in its grandest halls. We're slipping behind the scenes into the warm stillness of the royal apartments, where the light is low and the floorboards creak only if you listen carefully. Let's begin with Louis XIV, the Sun King. He rose with ceremony, and he went to bed with one too. Each night he took part in the coucher, a formal bedtime ritual attended by noblemen of rank and title. Imagine it now. A tall, gilded bed, standing beneath a carved canopy, crimson velvet curtains drawn back for the ritual, the scent of perfumed wax and aged wood in the air, and nobles waiting in quiet anticipation to play their small parts in the king's undressing. One would pass him his nightshirt, another might hold his slippers. There was even an order, a specific hierarchy, to who had the honor of pulling back the covers. The bed itself was grand, but firm, stuffed with horsehair, sometimes layered with feathers. Atop it, soft linen sheets, refreshed each morning by chambermaids, and above, heavy curtains to keep out the chill and the noise of the court. And when the ritual was over, and the nobles had bowed and backed away, Louis would lie back and breathe in the quiet. Sometimes he slept alone, sometimes not, but always, surrounded by the silence of power. The room, even at night, shimmered faintly with gold. Candelabras flickered low. A fire might snap in the hearth. Outside, the garden of Versailles slept too. The trees still, the fountains hushed, and somewhere an owl called softly. Even kings need rest. Now, let's float forward, like a soft breeze through the centuries, to the chambers of Louis XV. By this time, the ritual of bedtime had softened. Louis XV preferred privacy, smaller, more intimate spaces. Behind the grand public rooms of the palace, he had tucked away little retreats. Warm, wood-paneled, and quietly elegant. His bedroom was cozier, not so tall, not so formal. Here, the walls were lined in silk and polished oak. He chose furniture with care, clocks with gentle chimes, a writing desk near the window, and of course, the bed. His bed was large, but not overly ornate. The frame often carved from walnut or beech, covered in pale blue or green fabric, depending on the season. The curtains were lighter. They moved gently in the night breeze. And the linens, always crisp and cool, laid out by trusted attendants. Each night the king was offered a basin of warm water for his hands, and a goblet of wine or a small spoonful of a tonic made with herbs. Chamomile sometimes, or lemon balm. He'd change into a cotton nightshirt, maybe lined with silk in winter, and settle into his bed with a book. He liked to read, often histories or tales of exploration, letting his mind drift away from the weight of kingship into the comfort of stories. Outside his window, Versailles would be sleeping, the fountains still, the torches in the courtyards dimmed, and the king, just another soul under a blanket, breathing slow and deep, listening perhaps to the soft ticking of his beloved clocks. And then, there was Louis XVI, His sleeping chamber is still preserved today. A peaceful, stately room with pale walls and simple decoration. Far less grand than you might imagine. He too preferred calm over ceremony. His bedtime routine was quieter, more thoughtful. His bed, modest for a king, stood in the center of the room. It had a canopy of pale damask, and soft blue curtains, drawn closed each night by a careful valet. He slept on linen sheets, changed daily, and always had a soft cotton pillow at the head, not too high, not too firm. In the evenings, before retiring, he'd often pass through a small cabinet room, a space where he read, tinkered with locks. Yes, locks. And wrote in his journal. Then, by the flicker of candlelight, he would prepare for sleep. He didn't like noise. So the corridors outside his chamber were kept quiet after dark. Servants patted on soft soles, and guards spoke in whispers. Before bed, a warming pan might be passed between the sheets. A small brass pan filled with embers, drawn carefully across the bed to chase away the evening chill. Once tucked in, the king would listen to the night. Sometimes there was wind against the glass, other times the faint toll of a bell from the palace chapel. But mostly, there was stillness, a stillness so complete you could almost hear your own breath. And now, dear listener, the kings have all gone to bed, their palaces rest, their footsteps fade into marble floors, and only the rooms remain, quiet, golden, hushed. The beds are empty now, the curtains drawn, but if you close your eyes, you can still feel the softness of velvet, smell the rosewater and beeswax, and hear the distant chime of a clock counting away the hours. Let yourself drift into your own royal chamber, where the world is far away and sleep is just a breath. A sigh, a slow, peaceful fall into dreams. You are safe here. There is no court to impress, no crown to wear, just softness, silence, and sleep. At Versailles, the Queen's apartments were laid out with grace and elegance, not so far from the king's, but set apart, a space of her own. And like the kings, each queen brought her own rhythm to the room. Let us begin with Marie Antoinette. Yes, that Marie Antoinette. But tonight, we leave behind the noise of history, the crowds, the gossip of courtiers and the weight of revolution. Tonight, we visit her bedchamber, when the palace was quiet and the night was still. Her room is perhaps the most famous in Versailles. Lavish, yes, but also tender in detail. The walls are covered in soft floral fabric, pale blues, pinks, and creams, embroidered with roses, violets, tiny green leaves curling like whispers. Her bed is high and wide, carved wood painted white and gold, topped with a thick canopy and flowing curtains tied back with silk cords. She would often have fresh flowers placed near her bed. Roses in summer, hyacinths in spring, sometimes scented sachets tucked into the pillows, lavender, clove, orange peel. Marie Antoinette had her own routine. She liked warm milk before bed, and often her little dogs would curl at the foot of her bed, snuggled in soft cushions. Her bedchamber, unlike the king's, was not always public. She had secret doors, hidden panels. That allowed her to slip away, quietly, to private rooms tucked behind the official ones. There she might read by lamplight, or write a letter, or simply sit, gazing out the window at the moonlit gardens. She loved simplicity more than many knew. In her private rooms, she kept portraits of her children and delicate furnishings in natural wood. Her mind, like yours now, would drift, from thoughts of court and duty, to the softness of her pillow and the hush of the night air. The palace would be sleeping, and somewhere below, the fountains would glimmer in moonlight, perhaps the scent of lilac carried in through the tall windows, and the only sound, her own quiet breath. rising and falling in rhythm with dreams. Now let us drift away, to a part of Versailles less spoken of, the guest chambers. Not for royalty, but for favored visitors, dukes, ladies, ambassadors from faraway lands. These rooms, though simpler than the royal suites, were still crafted with care. Each had its own colors, some draped in soft greens like moss in a forest, others in warm yellows like candlelight. The beds were smaller, often caned or upholstered, but always dressed in fine linen, fluffed daily, turned down with a gentle hand. A warming stone might be placed beneath the mattress, a little bowl of sugared fruit left at the bedside, and a bell pull hung discreetly near the headboard, in case the guest needed something during the night. One might imagine a nobleman from Florence, removing his silk coat, slipping into borrowed nightclothes, and lying back, smiling faintly, as the sounds of French crickets sang through the shutters. Or a duchess from Bavaria, pulling up the covers, her hair unpinned, a novel tucked beside her pillow, the perfume of orange blossoms curling in from the garden outside. These were peaceful places, tucked among the endless wings of the palace, where time seemed to slow, and even those with busy minds found their way to rest. Now the halls are all asleep. If you listen closely, you might still hear the echo of silk slippers on marble, or the creak of a canopy bed as someone turns beneath the covers. The chandeliers are dark, the mirrors are cloaked in shadow, and outside, the stars blink quietly over the roofs of Versailles. The royal household is dreaming. And so, dear listener, you may dream too. Let your thoughts soften. Let your breath become slower. Imagine yourself lying beneath embroidered sheets, a canopy of flowers above you, the faintest scent of honey and roses on the air. You are safe here, cradled by history, wrapped in velvet, held gently by time. And as the night deepens, you drift, not alone, but among kings and queens, who once slept, just like you. The children of French royalty, known as les enfants de France, lived in their own world within the palace, a world that, as quieter, simpler, and filled with soft rituals of its own. Their rooms were not so grand as the king's, nor quite as elegant as the queen's, but they were warm, personal, and made for comfort, hair brushed and neatly tied with a ribbon at the nape of his neck. The chamber around him is quiet, pale walls, perhaps painted with gentle floral garlands, a modest canopy bed trimmed with soft blue, and by the hearth, a governess sitting with a book. Each night before sleep, there was a little routine. The Dauphin would be undressed by attendants, washed gently with warm rosewater, and tucked beneath a quilt stitched by careful hands. He might be offered a small sweet, a sugared almond, or a sip of warm milk with cinnamon, and then a story, perhaps one about knights in shining armor, or ancient kings and their noble deeds, but the voice would always be soft, soothing, with long pauses to help little eyelids grow heavy. His bed would be turned toward the hearth for warmth, and heavy curtains drawn across the tall windows. Outside, the wind might move gently through the trees of the royal gardens, a lullaby played not by instruments, but by the hush of leaves and the creak of old wood. In the quiet moments just before sleep, the Dauphin might whisper to his nurse, a final thought or question, already half dreaming, and then silence. Only the soft breath of a child, wrapped in linen and comfort, floating into sleep in a palace of stone and gold. Across the corridor might be the chambers of a young princess. Her rooms were a little brighter, perhaps adorned with painted birds and tiny flowers, drapes of ivory and pale pink, and shelves filled with wooden toys and picture books. She would be dressed in a delicate nightgown, ribbons carefully removed from her curls, and her small slippers placed neatly by the bed. Her governess, too, had her bedtime ritual. First, a brush through her hair, 100 strokes, gently counted. Then the reading of a letter or prayer, and sometimes a lullaby sung in a voice almost too soft to hear. Her bed was smaller than the Queen's, of course, but made with the same care. Feather pillows, a silk coverlet, and a tiny handkerchief tucked beneath, scented with violet or sweet lemon balm. She might fall asleep holding a doll, or one of her books, still open to a favorite picture. And above her, carved into the wooden canopy, were vines and stars, and little angels watching over her dreams. Outside in the shadowed gardens, the fountains had long stopped. Even the birds had gone quiet, and the little princess dreamed of ponies or ribbons or stories yet to be told. Further still, tucked into the oldest parts of the palace, are the rooms of the royal servants. Not quite so fine, but no less filled with care. The valets and chambermaids who helped the royal family each day needed rest too. Their rooms were narrow, with low-beamed ceilings and simple furniture, but they were quiet and often cozy. A small straw mattress, a wooden chest for belongings, perhaps a single candle in a tin holder beside the bed. There were no clocks in these rooms. Time was kept by the rhythm of duty. You rose when the bell rang, and slept when the palace quieted. They would pull blankets close, wrap scarves around their shoulders in winter, and listen to the silence above, the faintest creaks of royal footsteps, or the low sigh of wind through the shutters. These were rooms of simplicity, but they too held dreams, dreams of days off, of gardens beyond the palace gates, of quiet mornings and warm bread. And as the moon drifted across the French sky, even the humblest beds in Versailles held someone asleep, safe and still. So now, the palace sleeps completely, from the gilded ceilings of the king's chamber to the threadbare blanket in the servants' room. Every eye is closed, the air is heavy with quiet, candles long blown out, footsteps silent. The only sound left is your own breath, soft and slow. You are drifting too now, like a feather through time, wrapped in linen and peace, floating through rooms forgotten by most, but still echoing with the soft sighs of slumber. Let your thoughts fade now. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to be. Only this moment, this softness, this sleep. Now, let us step softly once more, not through grand halls, but into the lesser-known corners of Versailles, where secrets were kept behind heavy doors and footsteps were muffled behind walls. Let us visit the hidden sleeping spaces, the quiet, tucked-away rooms of mistresses, musicians, and visitors, where the air was filled not with ceremony, but with whispers, candlelight, and the warmth of secret rest. There were many such rooms at Versailles, rooms not listed in official guides, but quietly known to those who belong to the palace's ever-moving heart. The air is cool. Behind the queen's apartments, through narrow turning corridors, one could find the private boudoirs of her favorites and the delicate sleeping nooks of ladies-in-waiting. Some were no larger than closets, just wide enough for a narrow bed, a small table, and a mirror dimmed with age. But these were peaceful places. Imagine a young woman, her shift loose around her shoulders, unpinning her hair in the low flicker of candlelight, her fingers moving slowly, undoing the ornaments of the day, until all that's left is silence. Her bed might be draped with a simple linen canopy, its frame creaking softly as she settles in, and on the table, a small comb, a pot of lavender salve, and perhaps a folded letter. She may have read it before sleep, a note from a sister or a poet's line tucked between pages of prayer, and then, with a soft breath, she'd close her eyes, the day slipping away like silk through fingers. No jewels here, no royal duty, just the hush of solitude, and the sound of her own breathing slowing into dreams. Elsewhere in the palace, often just beneath the salons and music rooms, there were chambers kept for musicians and entertainers. they lived by a different rhythm. Their evenings began just as others were slipping into nightshirts. Their days were for rehearsals, and their nights for music. But eventually, even they needed sleep. Imagine one such room, a small attic just beneath the eaves, the roof slanted. In the corner, a violin rests against a chair, and nearby a bed, plain but lovingly made. A single quilt, hand-stitched. A wool shawl folded at the foot. The musician removes their shoes, worn from dancing feet and hours of standing. They sit at the edge of the bed, still hearing the echo of music in their mind. The final notes of the night's minuet drifting softly away. And then silence, only the creak of the old beams above, and perhaps the soft rustle of a mouse in the wall. But they are tired, and the quiet here is deeper than gold. It wraps around them like velvet, and the dreams that come are gentle. And finally we find ourselves at the furthest end of the palace, in a part rarely seen. A cluster of guest rooms used by wandering nobles, poets, and diplomats who came and went like ships in the mist. Their rooms were each different, some stately with tapestries and fireplaces, others humble with wooden shutters and straw rugs. But they were always prepared with care. Each bed made fresh, each pillow plumped, a wash basin filled with warm water, and sometimes a small book of psalms or poetry left on the bedside table. Imagine one such guest, a poet perhaps, long coat draped over a chair, ink-stained fingers stretched out before the fire. He finishes a final line, blows gently on the page, and sets the quill down. His bed waits near the window. The shutters have been drawn, but through a crack, he can see the stars above the trees. He lies back and listens. There is no sound but the wind, and the echo of his own thoughts, now softening, now fading, now gone. And so, the palace, vast and full of secrets, sleeps. Kings in canopies of gold, queens in silken nightgowns, children curled beneath quilts, servants snuggled into their narrow bunks, musicians dreaming of notes, mistresses tucked behind velvet doors, and poets, drifting on their own words into quiet. Even the palace itself seems to rest, its walls no longer listening, its stones warmed by sleep. And you, dear listener, are part of that quiet now, a dreamer in a long line of dreamers, tucked gently into the folds of time. Let your thoughts grow slow. Let your breath become soft. The day is far behind you. There is only now, only sleep, only the hush of ancient rooms, and the comfort of stories that never truly end. It is late. The palace behind you is resting, its lights dimmed, its windows dark. But the gardens are awake in their own quiet way. Come now, let us step onto the stone terrace. The air is cooler here, fresh, with a hint of orange blossom and early summer roses. You can hear the gravel beneath your feet, each step soft, measured, like a breath. The moon, full and pale, watches from above, casting a silver glow over hedges and fountains, turning every shadow into velvet. The grand paths stretch ahead of us, carefully planned, meticulously planted, but in this light they feel almost wild, mysterious. We'll begin near the orangery, where rows of citrus trees sleep in silence, tucked into their winter beds. In the warmth of day, these trees soak in the sun, their leaves a deep, waxy green, their fruit round and golden. But now, under moonlight, they are statues, still, fragrant, as if holding their breath. A breeze moves past, and you catch the scent of lemons, of earth, of quiet blossoms clinging to the night air. Let us follow the path toward the fountain of Apollo. By day, it is grand and glittering, a symbol of the sun. King himself, Louis XIV, rising in glory, pulled by his golden horses. But by night, it becomes a dream. The water has been turned off. The pool lies calm, like a mirror beneath the stars. Apollo's stone figure stands silent, frozen in time, his chariot stilled. Even the horses look as though they might begin to sleep, their stone manes quieted by shadow. You sit on the cool edge of the fountain, letting the night wrap around you. A nightingale calls somewhere in the trees, its song gentle, lonely, but comforting. The leaves rustle softly above, and you can feel the peace of the garden settle into your bones like warm linen. Now, let's walk a little farther to the Bosque des Rocailles, the grove of rocks. It's quiet here. Very few people come at night. Even in daylight, it feels hidden. There are marble benches beneath ivy-covered walls, and stone arches dripping with moss. Water once trickled here in careful rivulets, winding through miniature cascades. Now, only the memory of water remains. The hush of the stone, the coolness of the marble beneath your fingertips. You sit and close your eyes. Above you, the stars continue to turn. The moon watches, soft and constant. You feel the earth beneath you, steady, patient, and old. Everything here has waited centuries, and it will wait centuries more. There is no rush, no noise, only this stillness. And if you listen, you might hear the softest sound of footsteps, not yours, but someone else, long gone. Perhaps a courtier taking a late-night walk after a masquerade, or a gardener checking on the roses one last time before bed, or even a queen slipping away for a breath of fresh air, a moment to herself in the quiet of the hedges. Their steps are part of the air now, their laughter faded like perfume. But the gardens remember, and you are part of that memory too. Let us end our walk near the mirror pool, where the surface is so still. It reflects the night perfectly. You sit beside it, your reflection barely visible, just the shadow of a shape beneath the stars. And as you breathe in and breathe out, you feel everything slow. Even your thoughts begin to dissolve, like mist above the water. There is no palace now, no kings or queens, no carriages, no clocks. Only this, the dark garden, the gentle air, and the quiet hush of moonlight on your skin. You feel sleep pulling you gently, not as a weight, but as a hand, soft and calm. And now, as you lie back in your mind, you drift just like the breeze, just like the clouds, just like time itself. It is nearly invisible at night, just a soft line of rooftops across a low field, lanterns flickering behind wooden shutters. The pond, a sheet of stillness in the dark. The Queen's Hamlet was built not for power or politics, but for peace. Here the Queen could pretend, for just a little while, that she was no queen at all. She would wear a simple white muslin dress, tie a ribbon in her hair, and walk barefoot through the tall grass. The buildings here are small, thatched like cottages from a painting, each one arranged carefully, yet made to look as though they simply appeared. There's a farmhouse, a dairy, a mill with a quiet wooden wheel. And just past a little wooden fence, a cottage for sleeping. Yes, even in this make-believe village, the Queen had her chamber. Would you like to see it? Let's go slowly. The path is lined with lavender, its scent rising softly as we pass. You'll see the cottage now, its shutters closed, its chimney just barely puffing with the last of the fire. Inside, all is quiet. The room is small, nothing like the palace. No gilding, no paintings, just whitewashed walls, a simple table, a pitcher of water, and in the corner, a wooden bed. The linens are plain, but clean and soft, perhaps sewn by hand, and folded at the foot is a shawl, embroidered with the Queen's initials. Marie may have sat at that small table, combing her hair, writing a letter, or looking out the window at her little farm. Here, in this room, she wasn't queen, not really. She was just a woman, tired from a long day in the sun, her feet dusty, her hands lightly scented with thyme and rose. She would blow out the single candle, climb beneath the sheets, and listen to the frogs in the pond, the distant hoot of an owl, and the wind moving gently through the reeds. It was peaceful here, beautiful in the quietest way. And as she closed her eyes, even the stars seemed to hush. Now, my friend, let us leave the hamlet behind. Step carefully, slowly, through the last of the tall grasses, because now a carriage awaits. It's just ahead, near the old trellis gate. Black lacquered wood, brass lanterns glowing gently, and soft leather seats within. The coachman nods. A single horse, calm and slow, shifts its weight. You step inside. The door closes quietly behind you. The motion is gentle, so smooth, and soon you are rocking like a cradle into the night. The countryside outside is dark, but not frightening. It's peaceful. Fields stretch out like oceans of shadow, occasionally broken by the shape of a barn, a grove of trees, or a little chapel with a light burning in the window. The wheels of the carriage hum, the lanterns flicker, and the night stretches on, safe and steady. You pull the blanket around your shoulders, and the seat beneath you feels warm, worn by many quiet travelers before you, all rocked gently into sleep by the same rhythm. Breathe in the smell of hay, wood smoke, and the cool, clear night air. Breathe out. The quiet wraps around you like wool. Your eyes grow heavier. And in this moment, between yesterday and tomorrow, between memory and dream, you are weightless. The road stretches ahead, but you do not need to follow it. Not just yet. Let the horse carry you. Let the stars watch over you. Let the wheels turn soft and slow. The world is sleeping, and now, so are you. Let's stay here a little longer, in this gentle rhythm, where sleep is close and the world has grown so soft you can almost feel it breathe. The carriage continues on, winding slowly along a dirt path lined with hedges and low stone walls. There is no rush, only the steady, cradling motion and the sound of hooves meeting the road in time with your own slowing heartbeat. Up ahead, as the sky begins to pale ever so faintly, just a suggestion of morning, you see a light, glowing softly from within a long, low building. Stone walls, mossy with age, tall chimneys, already puffing with thin trails of smoke. We've arrived now, at the kitchens of Versailles, but not the grand kitchens where banquets are prepared and silver platters gleam under chandeliers. No, this is quieter, simpler. The boulangerie tucked behind the stables, where bread is baked at dawn for the many mouths the palace must feed. Step down from the carriage now. The ground is still cool with dew, and the faint smell of flour, yeast, and warm butter drifts toward you on the morning air. Inside, the kitchen glows with the golden light of early fire. A baker, his sleeves rolled to the elbow, moves slowly through the space, his motions practiced, gentle, like a man still half dreaming. He kneads the dough with quiet strength. The table dusted in flour, his hands steady, his breath even. Nearby, a young apprentice carries a tray of risen loaves stew, the waiting ovens. The doors creak open. A wave of warm air spills into the room, and the loaves disappear inside. They will be ready in an hour. Crackling crusts, soft white centers, served with butter or jam to early risers within the palace walls. A copper kettle whistles gently from a side table, steam rising into the air. The baker pours a cup, not for himself, but for the old porter who has just entered with a slow step and tired eyes. They speak in murmurs, nothing important, just the language of early morning. A nod, a quiet smile, the kind of peace that only exists when the world is still stretching itself awake. You sit on a wooden bench by the door, and everything is warm. The stone walls, the thick scent of dough baking, even the silence itself, soft as wool. Beyond the kitchen windows, the sky has shifted. What was once dark is now a pale, pearly blue. Birdsong begins, just a few notes, hesitant and sweet, as if nature itself is yawning. Someone brings in milk from the stables. Another stirs a pot of jam, blackcurrant perhaps, or early plum. But you don't need to move. Not yet. You're wrapped in a moment, a slice of time that asks nothing of you but stillness. The air smells like comfort. The bench cradles your weight. And even though you are awake, you are dreaming. Dreaming with your eyes open, your limbs heavy, your thoughts slow and kind. Let them drift. Let your mind wander to a loaf rising in the heat, or a soft footstep in the courtyard beyond, or the slow toll of a bell from the chapel nearby. No story needs to be told now, only felt, only held like warm bread in gentle hands. And just outside this room, the palace begins to stir. But we do not need to go there yet. There is no need for marble halls or royal commands. For now, there is just the quiet hum of morning and the golden scent of sleep lingering like sugar in the air. You rest your head against the wall, and time stretches, long and slow, like honey on warm bread, like the hush before a song, like the moments between waking and dreaming. when the world is soft and you are held. Let us stay in this tender morning light and move now, ever so softly, up the winding stairs to a quieter, dustier part of the palace, the attic. The attic is a world apart. Far above the glittering halls and manicured gardens, it is a place where time slows down, where forgotten things rest. The wooden beams creak quietly beneath your feet as you step inside. A faint scent of old wood, mothballs, and faded lavender fills the air. Light filters gently through a small, round window, casting soft, golden patches on the rough floorboards. Here lie forgotten trunks, their brass clasps dulled with age, and boxes tied tight with faded ribbons. Within them, delicate silk fans, hand-painted with tiny flowers, their colors muted but still beautiful. There are stacks of folded gowns, dusty and delicate as cobwebs, embroidered with pearls and silver thread, and old letters, tied with ribbon, yellowed with time, their secret safe in curling script. Imagine a quiet servant, perhaps a chambermaid, ascending these stairs long ago, carrying a lantern to check on the stored treasures. She moves slowly, with care, her footsteps soft as feathers. She pauses to brush a layer of dust off a faded portrait, the face of a long-gone princess, smiling faintly as if sharing a secret. Then she opens a trunk carefully, unfolds a fan, and breathes in the faint scent of roses left there by the lady who once held it. The attic holds memories, not of grand ceremonies, but of quiet moments, whispers of laughter, the rustle of silk skirts, and soft footsteps fading into the hush of evening. It is a place where the past sleeps, waiting patiently, like you, wrapped in the calm of this gentle morning. You settle onto an old wooden crate, the sunlight warming your face, and feel the stillness seep into your bones. The dust motes dance lazily in the air, tiny stars floating in a golden sea. Now, slowly, we will begin to leave this peaceful attic, carrying with us the softness of its silence. Step down the stairs. Feel the cool stone beneath your feet again. The palace awakening below, but you still held in this quiet moment. Your breath is slow. Your thoughts are light. The day is beginning, but you remain wrapped in sleep's gentle embrace. Let's move gently now, from the quiet attic's golden dust, down the wide stone stairs, to where the palace begins to breathe anew in morning light. We find ourselves in the royal chapel, a place of soft echoes and quiet reverence. Its high vaulted ceilings stretch upward, bathed in pale sunlight filtering through tall, stained glass windows. Colors of deep blues, gentle reds, and soft gold scatter across the polished floor, like scattered petals left by some unseen breeze. The air here is cool and still, carrying the faint scent of beeswax candles and old cedar wood. It is a sanctuary where the day begins gently, with whispered prayers and melodies that float like feathers in the air. A small choir of boys stands near the altar, their voices soft and pure, rising slowly in a quiet hymn. They sing not to fill the room with sound, but to create a calm, a peaceful thread woven into the very fabric of the morning. The priests move with slow grace, their robes brushing lightly against the stone floor, their faces serene, focused on the quiet ritual. No hurried footsteps here, only measured movements, as if time itself has slowed to honor the sacredness of this moment. You sit quietly in a wooden pew, smooth from years of hands resting, and let the music wash over you. The notes seem to dissolve all tension, softening every thought, turning busy minds into gentle streams that flow quietly toward rest. Through the windows, you see the garden beyond, a peaceful glimpse of green and light, where birds flutter and the breeze moves softly through the leaves. The chapel is a cocoon, holding you gently, protecting you from the world's noise. As the last notes of the hymn fade, you feel a deep calm settle into your body, a warmth like a slow sigh, the kind that comes just before sleep. You breathe in slowly and out, feeling your muscles relax, your heartbeat steady and slow. The morning has begun outside these walls, but inside, time lingers, soft and unhurried. Now, with a quiet heart, you rise and walk softly out of the chapel, into the gentle light of the palace corridors. The floors gleam faintly beneath your feet, and the air carries a delicate hint of fresh flowers, perhaps lilies or jasmine brought in from the gardens. You pass quiet rooms, their doors closed against the day, and feel the palace still holding its breath, waiting for the bustle to begin. Let yourself drift with this moment. The stillness, the peace, the softness of light and shadow. Your eyelids grow heavier, your body feels lighter. The world narrows down to this warm, gentle place. The door opens with a barely audible creak, and you step inside, where time seems to pause. The air smells faintly of old leather, waxed wood, and the subtle hint of ink and parchment. Shelves line the walls, heavy with books bound in rich, dark leather, some smooth and polished, others cracked with age, their pages yellowed like gentle memories. A large oak desk sits near a window, its surface cluttered with scrolls, quills, and a softly glowing candle, long since burned low. Sunlight filters through heavy velvet curtains, casting warm, golden pools of light across the room. Dust motes drift lazily in the beams, dancing quietly in the still air. Imagine the king himself, perhaps Louis XIV or his successor, sitting here long ago, not in grand robes or a crown, but simply as a man, quietly reading, thinking, or penning a letter by hand. The chair creaks softly under his weight. His fingers brush the pages, and outside, the world moves on. But here, inside this room, there is only calm. You settle into a high-backed chair nearby, feeling the warmth of the sunlight on your skin and the soft comfort of the quiet room wrapping around you, like a well-worn cloak. Perhaps you pick up a small book from the desk, its cover smooth and cool beneath your fingers. You open it slowly, letting your eyes trace the gentle curves of the script inside, words whispered softly across centuries. Outside, the faint sounds of the palace begin to stir, the distant echo of footsteps, the murmur of voices far away. But here, it is still. Take a deep breath in and out. Let the peace settle deeply inside you. Feel your body grow heavier, your mind quiet and clear. You are safe here, cradled in this moment, held by the slow, steady rhythm of time itself. And when you are ready, we will wander together once more, perhaps to the palace ramparts, where the gardens unfold below like a green sea, bathed in soft morning light. Or maybe to the grand gallery, where paintings watch over empty halls and the quiet echoes of history linger like a gentle lullaby. We leave the study behind with its quiet pages and warm sunlight, stepping out into the palace corridor once more. The floors beneath your feet are smooth and cool, worn by countless footsteps over centuries, yet now silent, except for your own gentle steps. The walls are lined with tall mirrors and elegant tapestries, their patterns soft in the morning light. The air carries a faint fragrance, perhaps from fresh flowers brought in to brighten the grand rooms, or maybe the subtle scent of polished wood and old stone. Ahead, a wide staircase spirals gracefully upward, its banister carved with delicate vines and blossoms. We ascend slowly, carefully, each step creaking just enough to remind us we are truly here, moving through history's quiet embrace. At the top, a narrow corridor leads to the palace ramparts, a place where the walls open out to the sky and the world feels wide and still. Step outside onto the ramparts now. The air is cool and fresh, carrying the scent of morning dew and earth. Below stretches the palace gardens, endless lawns, winding paths, and neat rows of flowering bushes. The sunlight spills softly across the scene, turning every leaf and petal into a gentle glow. You can hear birds, robins, finches, and sparrows calling softly to one another, their songs weaving a peaceful melody. The sky above is pale blue, stretching wide and calm. A few wispy clouds drift slowly, like soft cotton floating in a sea of light. You lean gently on the stone wall, feeling its cool surface beneath your hands. The stone is worn smooth by time, and you imagine the many royal fingers that have touched it before you, each one seeking the same quiet moment of peace. Below, a gardener moves slowly through the flower beds, hands busy pruning roses and tending lavender. The gentle snip of shears is almost like a whisper, blending perfectly with the sounds of the morning. You watch a small group of butterflies flutter near a cluster of sweet peas, their wings delicate and shimmering. They dance in the sunlight, weightless and calm. The distant murmur of palace life is muted here, carried away by the breeze. It feels like a secret place, untouched by time, where the world is only the soft sounds and light around you. Take a deep breath now, slow and full. Feel the cool air fill your lungs, fresh and clean, and breathe out, letting your body relax even more. Your shoulders drop. Your hands rest lightly on the wall. Your eyes grow heavier. There is no hurry, no need to move, just the peaceful stillness of this moment. After some time, you turn away from the ramparts and walk back inside. The corridor is quiet, and the soft echo of your footsteps is comforting, like a gentle rhythm. You pass through a doorway into a smaller chamber, a sitting room once used for quiet conversations or private moments away from the grand halls. The room is softly lit by a large window, draped with sheer curtains that flutter gently in the breeze. The furniture is elegant but simple. A carved wooden chair with plush cushions, a small round table holding a vase of fresh flowers, and a delicate porcelain teacup resting on a saucer. You imagine a royal guest sitting here once, perhaps sharing a whispered story or a gentle smile, the sunlight warming their face as they relaxed in this quiet corner. The walls are lined with paintings, portraits of ladies and gentlemen from centuries past. Their faces are calm and serene, watching over the room like old friends. The carpet beneath your feet is thick and soft, woven with intricate patterns of vines and blossoms. You sink your toes into it, feeling the warmth and comfort beneath you. You settle into the chair, sinking slowly, letting the softness hold you. The teacup on the table seems to invite you to imagine the taste of warm herbal tea, chamomile or mint, gentle and soothing. Outside the window, a gentle rain begins to fall, soft at first, then steady, tiny droplets tapping a delicate rhythm on the glass. The scent of rain mixes with the flowers, fresh and sweet. You listen to the gentle patter, each drop a quiet song that lulls your mind and body further into relaxation. There is no rush here, just the rain, the quiet room, and your breath, steady and calm. With your eyes closed, you imagine the feel of the rain outside, the coolness on the stone pathways, the shine on leaves, and the quiet pooling in the garden's low spots. The world feels washed clean, refreshed, and you are here, wrapped in warmth and safety, carried gently by the soft music of rain. When the rain slows, You rise slowly and move down a nearby hallway toward the royal bedchamber, the heart of the king's private world. The door opens silently into a large, calm room. The light is soft and muted, filtered through heavy curtains that keep the bright sun at bay. In the center stands the grand bed, massive and inviting, draped with silk and velvet curtains that frame it like a precious jewel. The bed's linens are crisp but soft, the sheets cool and smooth against the skin. A single pillow waits, plump and comforting. Near the bed, a small wooden chest holds slippers, a nightrobe, and a simple mask embroidered with delicate threads, a token of the quiet nights spent in dreams and rest. You imagine the king here, after long days of ceremony and duty, finally laying down to rest. The weight of a crown lifted, the world outside dimmed to silence. He would close his eyes, breathing deeply, letting the quiet fill the room. You settle into the bed now, feeling the soft sheets wrap around you. The curtains close gently, creating a cocoon of peace and calm. The room is still. Only the faintest whisper of a breeze moves through a cracked window, rustling the curtains like a lullaby. Your body relaxes fully now, heavy and warm. Your breathing slows, steady and easy. The palace around you fades to soft shadows and gentle light. Your thoughts drift slowly, like leaves floating on a quiet pond. You are safe. You are calm. You are ready to drift into a restful, peaceful sleep. From the quiet stillness of the royal bedchamber, we step outside once more, into the gentle embrace of the palace gardens at dusk. The sky is painted in soft hues, lavender melting into rose, pale blue fading into silver. The sun has dipped low, and its last light kisses the tops of flowering bushes and ancient trees with a golden glow. The air is cool but gentle, filled with the sweet scent of jasmine and honeysuckle. A slow breeze moves through the leaves, carrying the faint murmur of rustling branches. The garden paths are soft beneath your feet, lined with crushed gravel that muffles each step and bordered by neatly trimmed boxwood hedges. Along the walk, lanterns begin to glow, small, warm pools of light hung from iron hooks or nestled in the crook of branches. Their flickering flames cast dancing shadows, soft and comforting, like tiny stars come to rest among the flowers. You pause by a fountain, its waters flowing quietly, a gentle murmur that blends with the evening's hush. Nearby, a gardener moves slowly, tidying the beds and humming a low tune. He wears a simple linen shirt, sleeves rolled to the elbow, and his hands are careful, tender, as if each plant were a delicate treasure. The gardener pauses to brush a petal gently, checking for dew or the touch of a sleeping insect, then continues on his slow path. As the light fades further, fireflies begin to appear, tiny sparks of yellow-green, fluttering in the darkening air. They drift like soft fire, hovering near the rose bushes, then rising higher, catching the last glow of twilight. You watch them dance for a while, their quiet magic wrapping around you, and feel the calm grow deeper inside. A wooden bench waits beneath a flowering arch, roses climbing in gentle spirals, their petals pale and fragrant. You sit down softly, letting your shoulders relax, your breath slow. The bench feels warm beneath you, and the scent of flowers fills the air like a gentle song. Farther along the path, you see a quiet pool, its surface glassy and still, mirroring the fading sky and the first faint stars. A pair of swans glide slowly across the water, their movements smooth and silent, like a dream unfolding. The garden seems to breathe with you, slow, deep, peaceful. You rise again, stepping quietly through the garden's winding paths, letting the cool night air settle softly on your skin. You pass by tall hedges trimmed into shapes. A lion here, a crown there, silent reminders of the royal presence that once filled these grounds. The garden feels both alive and asleep, a secret world held just for you in this moment. As you walk, the scent of lavender grows stronger, and you find yourself near a small greenhouse. Inside, glass panes catch the moonlight, and rows of delicate plants grow in quiet order. The air is warm here, filled with the soft murmur of leaves and the faint hum of nighttime insects. You lean close to a cluster of white orchids, their petals almost glowing in the soft light. You imagine the palace gardeners tending these plants by candlelight, their careful hands moving gently, nurturing life in the cool of evening. Perhaps a gardener pauses to breathe in the scent, closing his eyes for a moment, feeling the peace settle deep. Leaving the greenhouse, you step back into the garden's cool night air. The moon has risen higher now, a pale guardian lighting your path. The stars twinkle quietly overhead, far away, but close enough to feel like a soft embrace. You follow the path slowly, each step measured and light. Eventually, you come to a small pavilion, open on all sides and framed with climbing ivy. Inside, a single wooden chair sits beside a low table, where a book lies open, waiting. The pages flutter slightly in the breeze, and the words seem to whisper stories from long ago. You sit down and pick up the book, feeling the weight of the paper, the softness of the cover beneath your fingers. The story inside is gentle, tales of peaceful days and quiet nights, of gardens in bloom, of soft rain on stone paths, and of hands held lightly in friendship and love. The words flow slowly, each sentence like a petal drifting on water. You read a few lines, then close your eyes, letting the story live in your mind like a lullaby. The garden around you is still, the night wrapped in soft silence. A gentle breeze stirs the leaves, and you breathe it in deeply. The scent of earth, flowers, and cool air mingled like a sweet memory. Your body feels heavy, your thoughts slow and calm. You rise once more and begin the slow walk back toward the palace. The path is dimly lit now by moonlight and fading lanterns. The quiet of the night surrounds you, soft as velvet, holding you close. Back inside the palace walls, you move through the hallways where tapestries hang, their colors softened by time. You pass rooms that are empty now, silent as a held breath. The floor beneath your feet feels familiar, the walls wrapped in history's gentle arms. You find your way to a small sitting room where a low fire burns softly in the hearth. The flames flicker gently, casting warm shadows on the walls. A comfortable armchair waits near the fire, plush and inviting. You sink into the chair, feeling the warmth seep into your skin. The room smells faintly of wood smoke and lavender. A thick blanket is draped over the armrest, soft and warm. You pull it around your shoulders, feeling its weight like a gentle hug. Your eyes grow heavy again, and the fire's warmth lulls you deeper into stillness. Outside, the palace is quiet. Only the distant call of an owl echoes softly through the night. The moonlight streams through the windows, silvering the edges of the room. You breathe slowly, deeply, letting the day's thoughts fall away. The world narrows down to the soft glow of firelight, the gentle weight of the blanket, and the slow, steady rhythm of your breath. You are safe. You are warm. You are calm. Your eyelids close gently, and the quiet of the night wraps around you like a tender song. Sleep begins to gather softly at the edges of your mind, a gentle tide pulling you into peaceful dreams. From the warmth of the sitting room by the fire, We rise slowly and leave the room, stepping back into the palace's quiet corridors. The floors beneath our feet are smooth stone, worn by centuries of footsteps, now echoing softly with our own. The walls are draped with tapestries depicting scenes of gentle pastoral life, fields of wheat swaying softly in a breeze, shepherds guiding their flocks beneath pale blue skies, and flowering orchards heavy with fruit. Their colors are muted with age, softened edges blending into the quiet shadows of the hallway. We turn a corner and find a narrow staircase spiraling downwards, leading to the palace's hidden depths, the secret corridors and chambers rarely seen. The air grows cooler and quieter here, a hush that wraps around you like a gentle cloak. Each step down is slow and careful, the stone steps worn smooth by countless footsteps over centuries. The faint scent of damp earth mingles with old wood and candle wax. A single flickering torch on the wall casts a warm, dancing light, making shadows sway softly on the rough stone walls. At the bottom of the stairs, a low wooden door waits, its iron hinges creaking quietly as it opens. Beyond lies a narrow passageway, just wide enough for one person to walk comfortably. The floor is uneven stone, and the walls are cool to the touch, covered here and there with patches of moss and soft lichen. Walking slowly, your footsteps are the only sound, soft and careful, as you move deeper into this hidden place. The passage twists gently, leading you to small chambers carved into the rock. Each chamber is simple but warm, furnished with a wooden bench, a thick woolen blanket, and a small window set high in the wall. You imagine these secret rooms were once used for quiet moments, a place where a trusted servant might rest, or where the king himself could escape the formality of court and find a moment of peace hidden away from the world. One chamber holds a small writing desk, its surface scratched and worn, and a single candle stub in a brass holder. Here, letters might have been penned in the stillness of night, words written softly by candlelight, carrying thoughts of family, friends, or distant lands. The walls are thick, holding the cold out, but the air is still and calm, almost like the stone itself is breathing slowly, inviting you to pause and rest. You settle down on the bench, pulling the woolen blanket around your shoulders. The silence here is gentle, broken only by the faint drip of water somewhere deep in the stone. Your breathing slows, and you feel the weight of centuries around you. Not heavy, but comforting, like a steady heartbeat beneath the earth. Time seems to stretch here, soft and unhurried, like a slow river flowing beneath the palace walls. You close your eyes for a moment, feeling the cool stone beneath you, the quiet air against your skin. When you open them again, you rise and continue down the passage. Soft light filters in through narrow slits set high in the walls, casting long, gentle beams across the floor. You pause by a small alcove, where herbs hang drying. Lavender, rosemary, and thyme, their scents mingling faintly in the cool air. You reach a larger chamber, where a simple cot stands against the wall, covered with a rough spun blanket. A small wooden chest rests nearby, its lid closed tight, holding unseen treasures. Here, you imagine, a guard or attendant might have rested, keeping watch through the night, their breath quiet in the stillness. The room is humble, but safe, a small refuge carved from stone. Leaving the secret chambers behind, you begin the slow climb back up the staircase. Each step upward brings a little more light, a little more warmth. As you reach the main palace floors again, the sounds of the evening begin to stir. The soft murmur of voices far away, the gentle clink of china from a distant room. You follow the sound to a wide hallway lined with portraits, their faces calm and still in the evening light. Each one tells a quiet story. A queen with soft eyes and a gentle smile, a young prince dreaming of distant adventures, a royal advisor watching with quiet wisdom. You walk slowly, your fingers trailing lightly over the carved wooden frames. The paintings seem to watch you as you pass, silent guardians of memory and time. Ahead, you see a set of tall doors partially open, leading to the gallery of tapestries, a long, narrow room filled with thick fabrics hanging heavy and soft. The tapestries depict scenes of nature, a quiet forest, a calm river, a field of blooming flowers. The colors are deep and rich, the threads worn smooth by centuries of light and air. You step inside and let the quiet wrap around you. Your footsteps are muffled by a thick rug that covers the floor. The air smells faintly of wool and earth. You pause to look closely at one tapestry, where a deer stands beneath a spreading oak, its eyes soft and watchful. The scene feels peaceful still, a quiet moment frozen in time. Walking slowly along the gallery, you feel as if you are moving through a dream. Soft colors and gentle scenes blending together. The quiet hum of the palace around you feels like a gentle lullaby. You come to a small window at the end of the gallery, where the last light of day slips through a curtain of lace. Outside, the palace gardens are shadowed in twilight, and a single nightingale begins to sing. The song is soft and clear, a melody that rises and falls like a gentle wave. You stand quietly and listen, letting the music fill the space around you. Your body relaxes deeper, each breath slow and easy. The world narrows down to this moment, the quiet song, the soft light, the gentle comfort of the palace's embrace. When you are ready, we can continue to explore the king's private quarters, a place of soft linens, warm fires, and gentle dreams. Or perhaps you would like to wander through the palace kitchens, where the quiet clink of pots and the sweet smell of baked bread fill the cool night air. As you move deeper into the palace, your steps slow even more, guided by the calm and peaceful rhythm of the night. The great halls are quiet, the voices of the day now hushed into gentle whispers carried on a slow evening breeze. You find yourself drawn toward the king's private chambers again, the heart of his world, a place where power meets rest, and the weight of responsibility meets the need for peace. The room is warm and softly lit by a low fire flickering in the hearth. The bed stands ready, curtains drawn back, linen smooth and inviting. A single candle burns softly on the bedside table, its flame steady and calm. As you sit by the fire, you think about the kings who have rested here, men who ruled great kingdoms, yet all shared this simple human need, to lay down, to breathe deeply, and to find a moment of rest. It reminds you gently of the balance in life, how even those with the greatest power must pause, slow down, and care for themselves. The palace, with all its grandeur and history, teaches a quiet lesson, that beneath the crown and robes, there is a need for softness, a need for calm. Just as the king rested here after long days of duty, you too deserve moments of peace and rest. The world can be vast and demanding, but it also holds quiet places, spaces for gentle breathing, for soft light, and for slow, peaceful moments. As you imagine the king laying down in this very bed, you realize that no matter our place in life, we all share the same need for rest, the same longing for calm and comfort. And so the palace's sleeping chambers become more than just rooms filled with silk and velvet. They become symbols of care, reminders that rest is sacred, and that peace is a gift to ourselves. The soft crackle of the fire, the smooth linen sheets, the gentle flicker of candlelight. all speak softly of this truth. You breathe in this quiet lesson, feeling it settle deep within you, like a gentle breeze on a warm summer night. No matter the day you have had, no matter the burdens you carry, you are worthy of rest. You are worthy of peace. And as the palace walls hold the stillness of night, you too can let go of the noise, the rush, the worries. You can embrace the calm, wrap yourself in softness, and drift into the gentle arms of sleep. The king's chambers remind us that rest is strength, that slowing down is not weakness, but a quiet power. It is the power to heal, to dream, to awaken renewed. As you close your eyes now, feel this power flow through you, carrying you softly into the realm of dreams. The night is kind, the world is calm, and you are safe. You are wrapped in warmth, held by history's gentle hands, and carried on the slow current of rest. Let your breathing slow further, your body grow heavy and soft. Imagine the palace around you sinking into sleep as well, the stones growing cool, the tapestries settling in silence, and the gardens resting beneath the moon. All is still, and all is well. This is your time, your moment to be gentle with yourself, to rest, to heal. You are not alone here. The quiet wisdom of the past surrounds you, whispering softly, reminding you to be kind to yourself. With each breath, you sink deeper into calm, letting go of all that no longer serves you. The worries of the day dissolve like mist, carried away on the evening breeze. You feel lighter, softer, ready to drift. Dreams will come gently, softly weaving stories for your heart to carry. And when you wake, you will be refreshed, renewed, ready to face a new day with calm strength. For now, just rest, just breathe, just be, and know that you are cared for, just like the kings who once found peace in these sleeping chambers. Sleep comes softly now, a quiet tide pulling you deeper, carrying you gently through the night. And I will be here, waiting quietly, to guide you on the next step of this peaceful journey, whenever you are ready. Good night, and sweet dreams.